Hey team, this is my second video explaining my experience with online PA school. Let's go. So I'm gonna give you guys my pretty much unfiltered Mid-Didactic Year Review. So as always, the disclaimer is here and in the description below. Let's get started. So first of all, I will say that knowing my schedule was very, very satisfying for me. As I mentioned in my previous video, I have a very type A personality and I like planning. So it was very nice to know each day what we would be doing. We have a system that all of our classes are registered on, and so the day before I could easily log on and see my schedule. Because of this, I could also plan out my study steps and strategies for the upcoming week, because I could see all of the classes that I had in order based on what was scheduled on our planner. Then I could plan what I would need to study for each day. So that was super convenient and very satisfying for me and my personality. Secondly, I will say that the online experience does allow for a proper work-life balance. If you know how to manage your time, the online schooling technique is and can be a very, very big benefit for students. I say this because you know your exact schedule and where you're going to be. And because of that, it allows for more freedom to focus on important things like your mental health. I will say that finding a good rhythm between your emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being is very important, especially during didactic year where you're focused on all of your academics at once. This model was super great because I could plan out my day, know when I had breaks, and know what I needed to study for which days. And because I wasn't driving anywhere, I knew where I could potentially be after class let out. For instance, if you wanted to go on that run after class let out, you definitely could do that. If you wanted to make that 5th cup of coffee for the day, not necessarily saying that you should be drinking 5 cups of coffee a day, you could do that. This model, while it does detach itself from the in-person experience that's very traditional and known for us, it does allow for the individual to focus on various aspects of their life. And like I said, it brings it back to the ability to find a good sense of time management. Personally, I think one of the best parts about the online model is that there is a quick disconnect from the public space. And I'm not really an introvert, I'm more of an extrovert, but I do understand the value of taking time to recharge and to be alone and to process. And so for me, this online model was very useful because after class was over, I could log out of Teams, close all of my tabs, and shut the lid of my computer to take a walk and mentally space myself out and process before tackling the next activities for the day. Okay, and now let's talk about things that weren't so great. So honestly, one of the worst parts about this entire experience is missing the direct face-to-face interaction that you get when you're with someone in a room. I will say that talking to a screen or listening to someone give a lecture through a screen is a very different experience for multiple reasons. First, I will say that there are so many ways that an online lecture can go wrong, and we experienced almost every flavor of that. But also, there's something special about seeing your professor in person and asking them questions to clarify or just to show you a technique that can't be replaced with the online format. The online study groups are also not one of my personal favorites. So when our semester began, we had to do a lot of online study groups, and personally that was fun in the sense that I could still talk and communicate with my lab members or with my friends to study material, but it was just very difficult, I will say. There is something easier about asking someone a question when they're right next to you and I can show them my notes, whereas over Teams we would have to share screens, we would have to text for clarification if the audio wasn't working, and we're not even going to mention the Wi-Fi malfunctioning, so I'll leave it at that. So another thing that I really missed was our ability to go to our actual PA department. So when I first got accepted, I was super excited about using our facility and getting to spend time with our classmates in person in our classroom and listening to lectures together, just like all the classes did before us. And obviously that was taken from us this year. And it was kind of sad, guys, not gonna lie. It was weird how for the majority of my PA experience so far, my idea of the classroom is my personal desk in my bedroom instead of at the desks in our department, where I know what they look like because I've been on the tour and I know where I would have decided to sit if I could. But as with 2020 and with everyone else in the world, we learn to adapt and to adjust. And you know, it can only get better from here, so positive thinking. So all of our lectures were on Teams, and we really thought that was effective as a platform for lecturing because you could share your screen with all of the students on one call, and it had a lot of features that would enable the presenter to give a lecture. However, as with all things, technology decided to be one of the most chaotic aspects of this entire experience. Everything from the muted mics to the frozen screens, or getting kicked out of a call while you were in the lecture and having to text your professor to let them know that you were still present but your computer didn't want you to be. So all of those things together created some sort of new normal that we were used to, but I couldn't say that it was ideal. So finally, one of the least favorite aspects of this online experience was doing labs, but virtually. I think it was very difficult for us to try and show our professors our splinting lab and ask them if we had done the technique correctly, or squinting up really close to the screen like this to ask a question or to see the technique that the professor was showing to us. And we understand that our professors know that was a struggle, and so we look forward to the upcoming semester in which we can improve our skills and practice even more so. And that's it for the second video, team. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe, and stick around for the final part of my Mid-Didactic Year Review.